And very good evening, students. And today I'm going to discuss about a new topic that is first year, that is second semester, that related with ecology topic, that is ecosystem. See, before that I can explain about ecosystem. I'll just not a deep, just I'll explain about outline. That is ecology. So what is ecology and what is the definition of ecology is nothing but the ecology is nothing but interrelation between the living and non-living in the environmental interrelation between living and non-living organisms in the environmental. Okay, the term of ecology is first discovered by Translating scientist. See, first one, the ecology was discovered by Hugel scientist. He is the father of ecology. So then this is the interrelation between the living and non-living factors, whatever non-living organisms of environmental. Okay, so according to Odom scientist, after that, okay, according to Odom scientist, the ecosystem is the basic functional unit of organisms and their environment interacting with each other and with the environment. See, so many scientists which give in so different type of definitions according to the Mahadev. Then an ecosystem is the sum total of living organisms, the environmental and the process of interactions in between within the all parts of the systems. Is it clear? So this is the common ecology system. The sun, then all organisms like plants and animals which is depending on sunlight. This is the main just wait, this is the main source we have, that is the sun. The sun, we are depending on whatever plants, whatever human beings, even whatever animals which are depending are completely sun. That means the sun is the main source of all living organisms on the earth. Okay, this is the main interrelation between the plants and the human beings, whatever animals, that is called as ecology. Now I'll go with ecosystem. So an ecosystem, maybe it is as small as a drop or a pond water. Such type of small ecosystem which is called as micro, means micro ecosystem. And it may be it was very large in size which is present in the ocean, that is called as macro ecosystem. See, the ecosystem which are present on different type of levels like primary and secondary, whatever tertiary and others, even which are present in microorganisms, means that is nothing but saprophytic members. Is it clear? Okay, an ecosystem is not an isolated unit. An ecosystem often integrated with each other and exchange the material among themselves. See, from exchange of whatever material and energy from one level to another level. Is it clear? Means the primary level to secondary and second level to tertiary. For example, I'll give for example, that means the autotrophic plants, which means all the plants, some of the rabbits are depending on plants, and some of the fox are depending on rabbits, and some tigers which is depending on fox, which means these are the omnivorous and herbivores. You know very well. After I'll explain in detail. Is it clear? So now the ecosystem was first discovered by translating scientists, and these scientists, according to these scientists, the ecosystems are mainly two different type of ecosystems are present, that is natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Now I am going to discuss about natural ecosystem. The natural ecosystem in generally depend upon the general sunlight or solar energy utilized by autotrophic plants in this process of photosynthesis, for conservation into the chemical energy stored to the food, as like a C6H12O6, that is a carbohydrates, even starch. Okay, hence this is the common natural ecosystem. Is it clear? And now I'll go with artificial ecosystem, that is complete opposite with the natural. the artificial ecosystem are maintained by human beings, whatever man. The natural balance is regularly distributed by the addition of auxiliary energy, means the energy other than solar energy, in the form of fertilizers and pesticides. For example, croplands like geomes, and wheat and rice and extra orchids, whatever. So these are the all belongs to artificial ecosystem, which is maintained by the other people, means like a man and human beings. Is it clear? So you can observe, this is a first natural ecosystem you can study, and this is the artificial ecosystem. Now I am going to discuss about natural ecosystem. So natural ecosystem which is present in the terrestrial, which is classified into terrestrial and aquatic. Terrestrial is nothing but this type of ecosystem which is present on the earth, whatever on the surface of the soil particulars. Is it clear? Aquatic is nothing but that is related with water and whatever it is moisture condition. This aqua ecosystem is again classified into mainly two different type of ecosystems are present, that is freshwater and marine water. See, what is freshwater and marine water is nothing but freshwater algae. You know very well about algae, and that time I can explain about the algae distribution habit, and this algae which are growing water condition, especially in aquatic and marine water. Whatever marine is nothing but that is a salty areas, and freshwater is nothing but that is a without salt and very fresh water, which means that is okay. Next, the freshwater again, which is classified into mainly two different type of ecosystems are lentic and lotic. Lentic is nothing but that is just standard water without any movement, okay, that is called as lentic. That is best example for lake. And running water, that is lotic. Lotic belongs to flowing water as a running water, that is the best example for rivers. Is it clear? Next, terrestrial is nothing but that is the common which is present on the soil and which is present on the earth basically. Okay, that is the common grassland, forest and desert, whatever it is, the best example. Okay, now I am going to discuss about in detail the ecosystem components. See, the ecosystem components are mainly two different type of components are present here, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. What is main difference between autotrophic and heterotrophic? So autotrophic components, these both are belongs to abiotic components, and we have biotic components are also present here. Before that abiotic, I can explain about abiotic components. See, abiotic is nothing but these are the non-living condition, and structurally the abiotic components consist of different type of components are present here, that is climate components. The climate components is nothing but that is belongs to prestige sorry temperature and light, whatever other physical factors especially, and that is belongs to climate. And inorganic substance means inorganic components, and inorganic abiotic components is nothing but that is the best example for carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and phosphorus and sulfur. Is it clear? Next, when we go with organic substance is nothing but most of the carbon and hydrogen and oxygen which present here, that is organic compound. The best example for glucose are the carbohydrates and fructose and proteins and fats, whatever it is. These are all belongs to organic substances, which means abiotic components are again classified into mainly three different types, that is climate components and inorganic components and organic components. Now I am explaining biotic components. See, and biotic components is nothing but large number of individual belongs to different type of species, which adjust about interact with each other. Is it clear? Share the same general environmental and use the same resource from biotic components of ecosystem. The amount of living matter present in the ecosystem is called, that is standing crop. In standing crop is expressed as a weight, it is called as biomass. So the very important what is biomass. Okay, the biotic component further classified depending on the nutritions, especially that is belongs to mainly two types, that is autotrophic and heterotrophic. While I'm showing the slide, that is autotrophic, so and also heterotrophic. Autotrophic, see, so autotrophic, that is the best example for producers. These are the green plants having chlorophylls, especially chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and they manufacture energy and rich food materials by the process of photosynthesis. This is called as autotroph. Autotroph is nothing but the self preparation of food material through photosynthesis in presence of sunlight, especially, and in presence of chlorophylls, and they convert the radiant energy of sun into potential chemical energy. They are called as okay, that is called as transducers. The organic components synthesized by the producers are utilized in their body and boiling and liberation of energy for various activities. See, next, the heterotrophs depends upon producers for their food, whatever energy requirements. The variety of photosynthetic bacteria and chemosynthetic bacteria. What is chemosynthetic is bacteria is nothing but that is and next one, photosynthetic bacteria, that's the best example for rhodospirillum. The bacteria which these bacteria means the rhodospirillum bacteria which are having a proper chlorophylls which is participating photosynthesis, that is called as photosynthetic bacteria. And photosynthetic protozoa also produce organic substance in terrestrial and aquatic habits through in very small amount. In terrestrial ecosystem, the autotrophs are usually rooted plants like means herbs and shapes and trees especially, okay, whereas in deep aquatic ecosystem, floating microscopic plants are called as phytoplankton. Phytoplanktons means which is present on the surface of the water, especially these are the free floating plant, and these are also autotrophs. See, in shallow waters, rooted plants is called as macrophytes, are dominated producers like Nymphia and Nilambo and Hydrilla, whatever. These are all belongs to hydrophytic plants. When the environmental conditions are optimum, the phytoplankton may produce as much food as produced by the larger ships and peas on unit area basis. Is it clear? That means the producers are mainly two types. That is nothing but macro phytes and macrophytes and microphytes. See, including phytoplankton. So the phytoplankton, that is free floating plants which are floating on the surface of the water, especially in the pond, whatever lakes. Is it clear? Next I'll go with the second one. That is nothing but consumers. See, these are the consumers. The consumers are mainly two types. That is mainly macro and micro. Okay, now I'll go with macro consumers. See, the consumers are those living organisms that ingest and swallow their food. Hence, there is called as heterotrophs, which means which are depending on other whatever other animals and whatever other plants. Okay, they derive their food directly or indirectly from the producers or green plants. The vast majority of consumers are animals. The consumers are mainly two types, that is herbivorous and carnivorous. This is a very important. So, um, so first one, the macro consumers are classified into mainly two or three different type of consumers are present, that is the primary consumers and secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Is it clear? So okay, the primary consumers which is nothing but these are the vegetarian people, which means which is depending on only producers. Okay, that means the best example for all primary consumers commonly that is rabbits and goat and deers. These are all grasshopper, whatever, cattles, these are all belongs to primary consumers. These are depending on only for producers for feeding for not only that feed that depending on energy. Okay, these are the key industry. This is the primary consumers. This is called as second one, that is nothing but the secondary consumers. The secondary consumers which is depending on producers as well as the primary consumers for the feeding purpose, even energy. This is called as secondary consumers. The secondary consumers are carnivorous, which is called as carnivorous, and tertiary, the tertiary consumers, these are all belongs to third, which has position of third. That is the best example for tiger and owl and peacock and lion. These are extra. These are depending on secondary consumers and primary consumers, even autotrophs. That is complete depending on producers, which means these are completely called as omnivorous. The consumers animals inject the plant producers of other inorganic material or inorganic food. They break them into their digestion process and produce a new type of organic materials like protein and animal tissues. Based on this concept, the green plants are called as primary producers, and the heterotrophic organisms are called as secondary producers, which means overly this is the primary producers, and then heterotrophs, which is called as secondary producers. Okay, now I'll explain about, that is finally the third step, that is micro consumers. See micro consumers again classified into decomposers especially, and also transformers. See, now I'll explain only decomposers here. These are the saprophytic microorganisms such as bacteria, whatever hind, fungi, whatever virus especially. These are all belongs to microorganisms which are growing on dead and decayed plants, animals. Okay, they obtain their food from dead bodies, especially dead bodies of producers, especially plants, and also consumers like animals, and their organic wastages. See, these type of decomposers, either these microorganisms are, they break down the complex organic components. See, what is the breakdown of complex organic components into simple and soluble components. These are the simple components. Indirectly, the compound organic material is directly converted into simple products in presence of such some enzymes especially, and hence they are called as decomposers or reducers. See, the decomposers are often is called as micro consumers because of their very small in size especially. Hence, I am telling these are belongs to microorganisms. The best example for bacteria and virus, especially, even fungi is also. The role of decomposers are very important in the ecosystem. For without their activity, the entire cycle minerals will get blocked. See, the decomposers are sometimes is called as detrivorous especially, and partially when they break down animal and plant material is called as detritus. So very very important, detrivorous and detritus. Even decomposers are my saprophytic members. Actually, what is the definition of saprophytic is nothing but the microorganisms like bacteria and virus and fungi which are growing and dead and decay are either dead bodies of plant and animals, and they are break down into compound products is directly converted into simple products in presence of some enzymes, that is called as saprophytic members. The best example, all my microorganisms. Is it clear? Next. So next I'll explain about food chain. Just I'll explain about food chain and with best example one. See, what is food chain and what is food web are both representation of their predators and prey relationship within the ecosystem or habit, especially food chain. See, what is food chain is nothing but in any ecosystem, producers means plants and different type of consumers are arranged in a linear sequence with respect to their tropical level, one level to another level, means then first level means bottom, that is called as producers. The producers is the next level is that is primary consumer, the next level is secondary consumer, the next level is tertiary consumers. Is it clear? These are the tropical levels. So energy rich food materials pass from producers to herbivorous and then to carnivorous, means the producers to primary and secondary tertiary. Indirectly, the transfer of food energy from plants through different series of organisms with repeated eating and being eaten is known as food chain. See, that is the main definition of food chain. Next one, the food chain involves the transfer of energy from tropical level to the next level. All type of ecosystem process two types of food chain: the grazing food chain and detritus food chain. See, grazing food chain is nothing but I am explaining only one, that is grazing food chain. In ecosystem such as a grassland, either a pond or lake or substantial part of primary production is grazed on by herbivores. The best example, cattle. See, the cattle are the main grazer in the grassland, while zooplankton are the main grazers in a pond, a lake. Usually, up to 50% of the net primary production is grazed on by these animals in their respective ecosystem, and the remaining 50% goes to the decomposers like organisms, like as the dead organic matter. Therefore, in this ecosystem, the food chain is herbivores. Based on herbivores are considered important consumers. Therefore, this is classified as grazing food chain. The some common food chains are given, just terrestrial food chain. The terrestrial food chain is the best example. Grasses, especially grasses and grasshopper and frog. The snake is depending on frog and hawk. Okay. Next, I'll give one more example for aquatic food chain, that is the phytoplanktons. The phytoplanktons is nothing but these are which are growing on the surface of the water in the pond, whatever lake. So the phytoplanktons and zooplanktons, the zooplanktons are depending on phytoplanktons especially, and fish zooplanktons is nothing but those are the insects especially. Okay. Next one, fish. The fish is eaten by insects. Means the fish is depending on insects, and crane, the crane which is depending on fish and zooplanktons, whatever plant. And next is called as big size of fishes. Okay. And finally, that is crocodiles. See, this is aquatic food chain. I'll give two examples for terrestrial food chain and also aquatic food chain. Whatever I'll explain one more example for ten terrestrial food chain, that is grasses. The grasses eaten by rabbits, the rabbit is eaten by fox, the fox eaten by whatever wolf, the wolf eaten by the tiger, whatever lion. Okay, this is the grazing food chain. Next, again I am explain ecosystem outline explainer. Just I am explain outline. This is the ecosystem which is depending on completely, that is the sunlight, and each plants and herbivorous and carnivorous, omnivorous, which is depending on these are the different type of tropical levels which is depending on one level to another level, and then energy flow system to one level to another level is present, like primary and secondary and tertiary. And this is a common ecosystem, and ecosystem was first discovered by translating scientists. The ecosystem is classified into mainly two types, and telling, that is natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. And again natural ecosystem, so then natural ecosystem, artificial ecosystem. Terrestrial and aquatic. The terrestrial is nothing but which is depending on soil, especially on earth. Aquatic is again classified into freshwater and marine. So the freshwater again classified into lentic and lotic. Okay, and that is depending on flowing water and standard water, especially lentic and lotic. Okay, so artificial ecosystem again classified into croplands and orchids. So you know very well about orchids, I think so. So biotic components are again classified into mainly two types, that is aquatic and heterotrophic. So autotrophic is nothing but which is preparing food material through them through photosynthesis, and heterotrophic which is depending on autotrophic, especially producers. Next, next one, the heterotrophs means the consumers again classified into macro consumers and micro. So the macro consumers are classified into primary consumer and secondary consumer, tertiary. That is nothing but herbivorous and omnivorous and carnivorous. And micro consumers, these are complete microorganisms like bacteria and virus and fungi. So these are the decomposers, especially. mm and this is a ecosystem, and definition ecosystem different type. And I can explain about abiotic components. Sorry, I forgot. Abiotic components, which is nothing, these are the non-living conditions. The abiotic components are again classified into mainly three different types, that is climatic component, and second is nothing but inorganic and organic components. The climate components, the best example, light and temperature, whatever the moisture. And next one, inorganic components like phosphorus and potassium, whatever it is. And next, organic components, especially calcium, sorry, carbon and oxygen and nitrogen. The best example for organic components like carbonates, C6H12O6, whatever, carbohydrates and proteins. Is it clear? This is ecosystem and ecosystem components, two types, biotic and abiotic components. And the biotic components again classified into mainly two different type of components are present. That is nothing but aqua tropic and autotrophic and heterotrophic. And heterotrophic is again classified into macro and micro components. Okay, and finally, that is decomposes saprophytic members is also very very important. What is saprophytic is nothing but the best example, virus and fungi, whatever all microorganisms which is grow on dead and decay dead bodies of plant and animals. And in these dead bodies which is having calm or in the complex, which is nothing but the complex organic components is break down into simple or soluble components. See, that is very very important. These are also called as decomposers, or which is also called as reducers. So very very important, decomposers. The best example they are asking in MSc questions, what is reducers or decomposers? These are very small in size. The best example, virus and fungi and bacteria. Okay, thank you students, thank you.